Ready to go? Okay, very proud of our team's performance after reviewing the film. I just thought it was a very good measuring stick for our program. You know, I was walking to practice today, and one of our seniors on defense said, you know, Coach, 2 years ago this team had 2 running backs rush for over 200 yards apiece against us here, and the older players remember that. And this has been one of the most physical teams in this league, and so and another team that we have a lot of respect for. So just really pleased that we could play them toe to toe, win a good game, and take another step towards our goals. You know, our goals for the game were win the field position, and we did a great job of that. Our punt team with Quentin Conaway. Quentin has earned the Mountain West Player of the Week for special teams. Our coverage teams were really good. Dotson, the big turnover on the punt team, was really big for us in getting a score to put us ahead by 4. And that margin was really big because they have a great field goal kicker, and that's how they had been winning games late by kicking field goals at the end of the game. You know, I thought the punt returns, we put Mannix back there for this game, and he hadn't been back there, but his sure-handedness and his 2 punt returns were really key in the game as well. And then our execution and field goals. So really pleased with our special teams in this game. That was a big difference for us. Taking care of the ball was huge. We had no turnovers in the game offensively, and then we got one on defense, and we got one on special teams, so we were +2 in the game, and that had a big factor in us winning the game. And then finish in the fourth quarter, outscoring them in the fourth quarter, shutting them out in the second half defensively, really important for us to lean on, and as we move forward, that's going to be really important for us. We have some tremendous examples of seniors playing their best football. I've said that. You know, one of those guys is Corey Rush. Unfortunately, Corey's hurt his foot in this game. He broke his foot. He's going to have surgery. And just can't say enough about his effort and the way he's played defense for us and the example that he's shown defensively. He's out there. I think he hurt it in the third quarter. He's still running around in the fourth quarter, chasing the quarterback all over the place. So, you know, we're going to have to replace Corey these last few weeks. There's a possibility he could come back for the bowl game, but that's not for certain. You know, we start a bye week this week. Obviously, we're game planning, preparing for Colorado State, our next opponent. But we have a lot of areas that we want to improve, and offensively, defensively, special teams, we want to get better. We scrimmaged our young players today, which was fun to see them compete and get after it a little bit. We want to continue to evaluate those guys and put them in positions where they have to improve and compete. We want to get our veterans fresh and healed up for these last 3 games. That's really important. The other thing we'll do this week is we'll go out on the road and recruit. You know, we put a really good class together. You know, we've got some verbal commitments, but, you know, nothing's binding until December. We've gotten some really good players that have verbally committed to us, and we'll have a lot of people coming after those guys trying to change their minds. So really important that we go out this week and see some kids and watch them play on Friday night. I'll be on the road as well. So that's really important for us. And you know, our goals as a program and as players and coaches every week is to improve. And that'll be no different this week. We got to get better as a team. There's still a lot of things out there to be accomplished. There's a division championship. There's obviously the conference championship, and there's bowl games on the line. So we want to work towards those goals. You know, there's always a saying, you always remember the games in November. And, you know, and we certainly have 3 important games left. There's a lot of important games in our league. And so, you know, our goal is just to prepare the best we can and win and see what happens. So, we'll continue to prepare for that this week. I know our coordinators are going to talk, and so, any questions that you guys might have, I'll answer those now.
Coach, you said Corey broke his foot in the third quarter, or at least injured it, you said, and then he's still playing in the fourth. What does that say about him that he's still able to do that for his team?
Just really a tough guy. And we've been pressing our kids to show that toughness, that grit, that mental fortitude that you need to have to play good defense, and it's really an attitude. And he's been one of those guys that's just come to work every week, and been an example and played with great effort. And you learn how to play those kind of games from your seniors. These guys are going to leave a legacy to our younger players on how to prepare, how to play. I also think he was one of those older guys that was here 2 years ago when San Diego State did run the ball, have two backs run for 200 yards apiece. And so he was determined, not for that to happen on his watch. And that's what being a senior is all about. I'm sure he didn't know how bad he was hurt when he was playing, and he was just trying to win the football game. So got to give him credit for that.
Where would you like to grow offensively and defensively over the last 3 games?
I think we've done a lot of good things defensively. We've improved in playing our run defense. But I think overall, more than just statistically how we've done on third down, all those things, we're learning how to step up in critical times in the game and make plays, and that's how you win. Offensively, I'd like us to protect the ball better. We need to do a better job of that. We've turned it over too many times, and this last month of the season, we've got to be on the plus side of that. So continue to take it away. We've been one of the better teams in the league defensively in takeaways, and offensively, we just got to really take care of the ball here down the stretch, and that's just a mindset. We've got some young players playing, and they have to learn how to respect the football. That's really important. I would like to see us down the stretch really play explosively like we did earlier in the year offensively, and we have a chance to do that. I'd like to see us continue to whittle away at giving up points defensively. And, we've done a really good job in the conference of holding people in the 20s, and we need to continue to do that down the stretch. And I'd like to see us continue to score and be explosive, both in the run and the pass game. There's a lot of things in that game that we did well, but there's a lot of things that we can clean up, just understanding, our run game a little bit better, identifying people, and a little bit better execution in our routes. So, we have plenty that we can improve on as a team. We still haven't played our best football, and so we want to continue to focus on those little things and get better so we can play our best these last three games.
The defense did give up 35 points plus to his first 3 FBS opponents, and then it did make that huge turn. It's been great the last 5 games or so. I mean, what was there a turning point, or did something click in that kind of led to that?
I know Jeff was going to talk. I'll let Jeff talk on that. But for me, it was the Air Force game. I just think our kids really dialed in and listened to the plan, and I'm really proud from my vantage point just how our kids are listening to the plan and responding to the plan to win. And our coaches, our coordinators do a great job every week of letting them know the things we have to do to win. And I just really feel like the Air Force game was the first time I felt where offense, defense, special teams, we as a team, we just responded to that plan and did exactly what we were asked to do as a football team. We had to ball control it on offense that game. We did a great job defensively playing the triple. And I think ever since then, whatever the challenge has been, we've responded to it. We had to play the run and shoot at Hawaii, and we did a good job defending that. This team was a different team. I thought we were a little bit flat. I was worried coming back from that long trip from Hawaii. I was concerned that we might be a little flat at the beginning of the game, and we were a little bit flat. But, boy, it's real credit to our coaches and players how we adjusted after being down 14 points and just did the things that we had to do to get back into the game and then to win the game eventually. And so just really proud. You have to do that in some games. Some games, you're not going to make all the plays early, but you have to do the things to get back in the game and make the adjustments, and we did that. So we got to credit our coaches and players for that.
When you look at this recruiting class that you're going to go and focus on this week, how many scholarships do you have to get out? And is there a focus like last year's focus was kind of in the trenches?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of everything. We'll probably sign a couple receivers. We'll probably sign 3 to 4 offensive linemen. Definitely a quarterback, possibly a running back. There's some guys that we're recruiting in that area. A couple of D linemen, a couple of linebackers, a couple of safeties, a couple cornerbacks. So, really important for us to recruit length. We want kids that are long and that are athletic and can run. And we have a real profile of what we're looking for at every position. And we want to continue to get longer, get more athletic, and get more physical as a football team. I can't stress enough, we've made a lot of progress on becoming the type of team that can line up and beat the best teams in our league physically. And we've made progress. I think the way that we've played, Fresno, Boise, San Diego State, we're playing them better physically. And now we just have to make the type of plays we can make to win those games. But we want to continue to recruit to be able to line up against those teams and play them physically in the run game, running the football. I think the running backs that we've recruited have helped us be better there. We want to be more athletic and longer on defense to help us play better against those teams. And so we've got to continue to recruit the kind of players that can help us do that.
You can't talk about the guys who have verbally committed, but it seems like a lot of guys from LA in your first 3 classes. How important has Eric Scott been in getting you back into that area and getting into homes?
Just really good, really important. Eric knows a lot of these coaches. He knows a lot of the kids. He coached. I think one of the things that's a great advantage for us is that Eric coached the youth teams there. So a lot of these kids, he kind of worked with Snoop Dogg and got the Snoop Dogg League started. And so Eric coached a lot of these kids in junior high and in grade school. And now a lot of these kids are seniors and they remember Coach Scott. But, along with Coach Scott, we put all 10 of our coaches in LA. So a lot of teams don't do that. We put our whole staff in there, and our whole philosophy is to recruit smaller areas. And, you guys from LA understand you can spend most of your day on the freeway if you don't know your way around. So we have smaller areas. Our guys have to recruit less distance and really covet the schools in their area. And that's been beneficial for us because we find out about a lot of the kids in the public schools and that a lot of people don't know about. So, the West Coast is still under-recruited in a lot of ways. A lot of kids still fall through the cracks, and we're trying to do the very best job of evaluating those kids so we don't miss on them. And so that's going to be important. We'll go back out this week and get a lot of coaches out.
What makes you want to put the whole staff in LA?
Well, a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people will put 1 or 2 coaches in LA. And, it's very difficult to recruit the South Bay and then go out to the Inland Empire. And so, and a lot of the best players in LA are all going to the private schools. And so, a lot of teams will just send coaches in to go to the Boscos and the Mater Deis, and they won't go to all the public schools. So there's still a lot of good players in the public schools, and we just want it. We get to more schools that way. Instead of spending time on a freeway, we're spending time, seeing players and seeing coaches.
And are the kids who are from LA who are already here kind of helping to recruit back there?
There's no question. Once you do get kids on your team, I think we signed like 30 in the first 2 classes from LA. Then when you do bring kids on campus, they know your guys, and kids recruit kids anymore. And so, You know, it's certainly the kids we got from the Bay Area, the kids we got from LA. They've really helped us recruit more players from those schools. And then some of the kids in this class all know each other. So, you know, that familiarity really helps in recruiting.
Coach, you think the bye kind of came at a bad time because you guys have 2 wins in a row, all this momentum building, then all of a sudden no game this week?
I would prefer to have the bye earlier in the year, actually, because at the end of the year, you start to get in a rhythm and you just want to keep playing. But it helps us right now. We're a little bit banged up, a little beat up. You know, and the other thing about that is that a lot of teams have had their bye already and they still have 4 games left. And so there's some really important games in our league. Some of the top teams still have to play each other. And, you know, and so we have a chance to, you know, sit back and watch this week and let them kind of fight it out. And then, you know, our goal is to play our best football these last 3 games and try to finish out and see what happens. You know, win 1 game at a time and just see what happens in the league and see if some guys can drop back to us.
You touched about kind of getting that physical break, but how important is it to get a mental break as well, especially at this point in the season, you know, 3/4 of the way through?
It's really big. You know, we'll have 3 days where the players will have off this weekend. They won't practice Friday or Saturday or Sunday, so they'll get a chance to get a little bit of a break and make sure they're taking care of everything in school, and then we'll come back Monday, hopefully mentally fresh, getting ready for Colorado State.
What's the best part of the bye week for you aside from football?
Oh, I don't know. It's just it's a good time to catch your breath and just kind of reevaluate everything. And you know, we've talked a lot about, you know, just taking care of everything on a daily basis. Make sure you're getting everything done in class, getting all your assignments done, making sure you're staying on top of everything academically, and then just doing the little things every day. You know, make sure you're eating breakfast, getting taped, all those things. We just reviewed all that with our team because all that stuff matters when you compete, and you got to have personal discipline before you can have team discipline. So it's just a good reminder week that all those things matter, and we want to be the team that's doing all the right things down the stretch.
And one last thing about Corey, how do you guys, obviously you can't just plug one guy in and get that same level of production, but what's your approach to that?
Well, we've been playing a lot of players. You know, we've been playing 7 or 8 D linemen, and so, you know, that experience that we've gained's got to help us. And you know, some of our younger guys got to step up, guys like Sam Hammond and Chris Green. You know, those guys are young players, and they're going to have to step up. They're going to get more opportunities to play. So, you know, everybody's going through the same thing we are. We're not the only ones having injury problems. And so we just have to step up, and the next guy's got to step up.
I know Adam Lopez hasn't returned since he had those tests. I guess what did those find, and is he potentially coming back?
You know, he had a major cardiac event and had some damage to his heart, and so he will not be back for us this year. He's still healing up. He's getting back into school. And then as he starts to heal up, his rehab will start, and they'll continue to evaluate him. You know, we're hopeful that he continues to heal up and that, you know, sometime next off season he'll be back with us and being able to compete again.
Are you?
Coach,
okay.
Say, Coach, what do you think's been the toughest? What's going to be the toughest thing, really, to keeping the guys motivated, the momentum going into next week?
I think we have a lot to be motivated about, but I just really think it goes back to doing the things every day that we need to do, and we've tried to keep things real simple around here. The kids know their expectations. You know, their expectations is to take care of everything academically. Their expectation is when they come over for football, that they have to be prepared for that, do all the little things we're asking them to do. And, you know, it's our jobs as coaches to make them accountable for that. And so we'll continue to do that. You know, we'll reemphasize all those things to them and just expect them to continue to improve every day. And if we do those things, we should have success on Saturdays.
How do you think the seniors have really stepped up in the past few games, really, to show that leadership that you guys need?
I've been really proud of our seniors. You know, I think starting with our captains, you know, Ty Ganji, Malik Reed, and Wes Farnsworth, they've really led by example. And then all of our seniors, have really been playing at a high level, and I think that really is a credit to them, and that sense of urgency that they've shown has really rubbed off on the rest of our football team. And so, we've enjoyed, these last couple of victories, but we've come back to work on Monday to do the things we have to do, and we have to continue that. It's going to be real important that we have that same work ethic when we go back on a practice field tomorrow. Today was a lot of young kids out there competing, and that was fun. But tomorrow we go back, and we just got to go back to work and really emphasizing our fundamentals and getting better.
Anything else for Coach? All right,
Thanks.
You. Go ahead, Coach. Questions for Coach Castile?
I mean, not great news with Corey, but I guess what have you thought of his season, and then I guess what do you lose when he's going to be out over the next few games?
Well, it's really unfortunate, and in the fact that, again, he's such a great kid. It's his senior year. He's having a great year, and also he's made a big impact on us defensively. So, hopefully we'll be able to get him back. If we can continue winning and get to a bowl game, but we'll lose a lot. He brings so much energy to the practice field. You've been at practice. He's a guy who loves to go compete, and we have a few guys like that, but Corey has really I think made a big impact on our younger football players about how to go about your business, how to compete, whether it be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or a Saturday night and at game time. But he'll still be there to give us that impact. He just won't be able to do the things that he's been able to do on the field.
Coach kind of pointed to the Air Force game as a turning point for the defense. Kind of a rough start to the season, but things have been great since you started conference play. Was there a moment, do you think, that kind of turned the defense around and gave them the confidence to do what they've been doing?
Well, I have a little different take in the fact that I've seen the kids improve really from game one to Saturday night, and they had some things that happened to them and during some games, but I could tell that we were going to have a chance. We're a little smarter, the way we want to play, and we still make some mistakes, and we had some mistakes early in the year, but I think that the kids they really had a great spring. If you watch spring practice, you could tell that we were getting better, and so I don't know that there's one area or one game that you could put your finger on, but it's been kind of building, and we still have a long way to go. I mean, again, talk about Saturday night. I was really proud of our guys, the way they played. They get down 14-0 and taking a beating the first 15-20 minutes of the game, and they didn't panic, and that's a good football team that they beat Saturday night, and for them to be able to get back up off the mat and come back and hang in there and keep working and to get a big win like that was I think really big, and so we just have to hopefully we get a chance to heal up and work on some fundamental things and get the kids a little bit of a break both mentally and physically, and get ready for Colorado State here this week.
I mean, you had some great defenses at West Virginia. Are you seeing some certain characteristics with this defense, and if so, I guess what are they?
Well, I think the biggest thing, and one of the things that I saw early in the spring that I thought would give us a chance is our effort has been absolutely outstanding. These kids have worked their tail off, and they worked their tail off on game day, and the effort has been, you know, if we get a ton of people to the football, and that covers up a lot of things that maybe we don't do as well as what we would like to do, at least as coaches we would like to do. But their effort has been outstanding, and you know, we just have to continue to get them to, and they play as a unit. They really they've learned how to play team defense really in the past. I think they've grown a great deal in that aspect of playing defense. But they're unselfish. They're great kids, and you know, really happy for them Saturday to get that type of win. And you know, now we just have to continue to get better. And we have a lot of things we've got to improve upon. And you know, the kids hear about that in practice.
Is there an area that specifically you want to grow on a lot over the last month of the season, or it's kind of a focus point?
Well, I think, you know, we just have to, you know, and it's a cliche, but you're just trying to get better at things every day, and hopefully you can bring a few more kids into the fold that can come in and play, you know, 10, 15, 20 snaps and, you know, rest some kids. And but you know, I don't know that there's any one aspect. It's just a thing we have to just continue to grow as a defense, and I think I like our toughness. Our kids are learning how to, you know, be a little bit tough-minded and being physical, and you know, so we have to continue to improve upon those things, and the kids understand how important it is.
In the last 2 games, you've held opposition scoreless for, it seems like, 2 quarter stretches, if not longer. Have you noticed in those times in both games a common denominator that can just like explain what's been going on?
Well, I wish we could do that the whole 4 quarters, but if we knew the exact answer to that, we'd probably be a little bit better at it. But you know, I just think that the kids have a resolve about them that you know, and that was a tough ball game for them Saturday, really was. And down on the sideline, it was a tough environment for them going against a good physical football team. But you know, we just, you know, the kids, we made some mistakes early in the game as well, and you know, we had to do some things and change a little bit of what we were doing defensively to help the kids as well. So, you know, it was a product of the kids just hanging in there and doing what they need to do.
How do you think the past few games has really helped showing what the culture of what you guys want this defense to be?
Well, you know, I think we've grown to be a great effort team that tries to play as physical as they can, and we've been able to make some big plays turnover wise, and you know, those are things that really, you know, juice the kids up a little bit, and that's kind of caught on, and you know, everybody wants to try to be a part of that. So, but you know, it's just really going to work every day at practice, and I think that's, you know, another thing that the kids have done really a good job. They've really practiced well throughout the season, and it's gotten them to this point now that, you know, they've got some good things, and people are starting to take notice of their efforts.
Does the bye week allow you guys to add anything or subtract anything you're doing? Not necessarily a major change, but tweak something that you guys
We'll do some self-scout, and you know, we'll go ahead and we have a little bit more time to maybe do some different things as well, and so it's good. We needed some, you know, the kids need a break from the coaches, I think, and us coaches need a break from the kids a little bit at times as well. But you know, we'll look at doing some different things.
From a personal life standpoint, what's the best part about the bye week for you?
The best part, I get a little bit chance to probably get a little bit more sleep, but it's about it.
Coach, one of the interesting things about the Mountain West is all these different looks you're going to get. I mean, you'll get a triple option, and then you'll get a run and shoot and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Personally for you and for the players, do you guys enjoy that sort of challenge, or do you feel like you have to press a reset button every Monday practice?
Yeah, I think everybody's kind of used to seeing so many different things from offenses. I don't know that it really is that big of an issue. I think that the triple option is, because that's one thing that you don't see a great deal, but for the most part, there's, and San Diego State was a little different as well with the two backs and the two tight ends, but I don't think there's a huge difference in things. Football's football.
Obviously, recruiting is a big deal during the bye week. You have some key seniors that you're going to be losing. What are areas that you feel like you guys need to fill heading into next year?
Well, if you look down our roster defensively, we just want to continue to recruit talented players, and those guys make the best coaches for us. If we get some really talented players, usually you're a pretty good coach. And so we just want to, and we have some really good football players. We just got to continue to add really throughout the lineup, whether it's up front, whether it's the backers or the back end type guys. We just have to continue to recruit some talented kids.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thank you.
All righty.
What have you just generally thought on your offensive performance through the first 3 quarters of the regular season?
Yeah, I think we've done a nice job. We've really done a nice job running the ball. The Union's, really done a great job. Angus McClure's handled coming in and learning the new offense. And those guys, you lose a guy like Corbett, who's a real leader. I really thought that Jake Nelson and Sean Krebs have done a great job stepping up and being the leader of that line. And you look at where we're at right now, I think we've probably thrown it around 350 to 375 times, and we've only given up 11 sacks, so that's pretty impressive.
Is this the balance that you like in an air raid typically? I mean, you guys maybe have run it a little bit more than maybe the average person would think in the air raid, but is that kind of what you guys came into it?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. Everybody thinks that I'm going to be disowned by my father, and I'm not going to get to go home for Thanksgiving, but, at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. And so you look at what we were able to do last year, and we hurt a lot of people through the air and really explosively, and I know Coach Norvell talked about it, and we'd like to see more explosive plays here towards the end of the season. But, when teams are scared of you back there, they tend to drop 7 guys or 8 guys into coverage and make it harder for us to throw it. But that gives us great opportunities to run the ball. And so I think, realistically, it's just playing smart football, and Ty's done a really nice job of checking the runs when the run's been given to us.
Is that to go against your instinct, or, I guess?
No, not really. I think, at the end of the day, we're getting paid to win games. And so, if running the ball is what we got to do to get that done, we're going to do it, everybody loves to see the ball in the air and throw it around the yard. So, hopefully we'll get some more opportunities to do that in the next 3 games for sure.
And it seems like the run game behind, Toa really emerging has been big. What has it been about him as a true freshman to come in and play as well as he has?
With Toa, what's special is he has great vision and he has great footwork. And so when he gets through the hole, he's usually going to make somebody miss. And so we talk about it with our O-line is like, just give him a chance to get to the second level, because if he can get past the second level, he's going to be trouble in the open field. And so, Coach White's done a tremendous job with all our running backs. Kelton Moore has been great, and Devontae Lee's really starting to come on and has had a few scores in the last couple of weeks. But, those guys carrying the ball, they make it a lot easier for the quarterback to throw it down the field when defenses have to start respecting those guys.
Is the Wildcat something you had used a lot in the past? And I guess what has that kind of done for your
I wish I could claim credit for that one, but I can't. That's Coach Norvell, and that's him putting his spin on some of the offense, and it's been great. It's been a great addition, and it's really been hard for defenses to stop.
Coach, could you talk about the depth receiver? It was interesting to me that Caleb and McLean are way up there nationally stat-wise. Then their stats go down, but you still find 7 other guys to throw it to against San Diego State. Is that something you knew was going to happen, or could you?
Yeah, I think we talked about it all week. We always talk about trying to spread it around, especially from the quarterback room. It's a lot easier when you're spreading around. It's hard for defenses to key on one guy, and I think you know, McLean garnered so much attention going into this season, being an All-American as a freshman. You know, everybody asked me, well, man, you know, McLean's not catching that many balls. And I say, yeah, they're double covering him and sometimes triple covering him. So, I mean, you know, it's been obvious with defenses that they're going to say, hey, we're going to take number one out of the mix. And that's where you've seen Fossum really, you know, have some, you know, producing some big games for us. And now you're watching Elijah Cook starting to come on as a sophomore. And so it's good to see some of those younger receivers on the outside starting to make plays.
Coach talked about recruiting big this week. I guess, you know, where do you feel like you guys need to add? I mean, you don't have a ton of seniors. Obviously, you lose Ty and you lose Sean. But I guess, are there positions of need for you in your mind, you know, building this team forward?
Yeah, always bigger union members, you know, guys that are going to be up front and be in the trenches for us. And then, you know, I've talked to Coach Norvell a little bit about it. We need to get more depth at receiver. We do have some good receivers, but, you know, if you look at Mike Leach's receiver group at Washington State, he's got 15 scholarship guys. You know, and so I'd like to see us get a couple more, you know, receivers to go along with the guys that we already have, and then that way in practice and in games we feel like we're deeper at that spot and can put more guys in the game when we need to. You know, in the receiver core it's big because those guys are running so many routes, they can get tired and they get wore down. If you've got more of them, then you can feed them into the game and you don't get as tired.
You mentioned getting more explosion these last 3 games. I guess what will be the keys to doing that, to get maybe a little bit more? You know,
finding the matchups, you know, getting our guys in the right spots, and Coach Scott does a tremendous job of watching game film, and we watch game film every week trying to find, you know, where we're going to take our shots, and we did it this past Saturday. You know, the first play of the game, we knew we wanted to go after them, and we were going to throw it over the top, and I think we just barely missed hitting Romeo. But, you know, I think the nice thing about doing that early in the game is hopefully you hit them and have some success, but at least you make the defensive coordinator on the other side go, okay, I better stay back, you know, and then that way we can use our run game and our screen game and our quick game to get going.
Defense has really improved a lot this season. How has that helped your unit, your side of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Castile's done a tremendous job, and watching those guys get to where they're at now, I mean, it's nice being an offensive coordinator knowing you don't have to be perfect on every drive, you know. We'd still like to score more points. I mean, we'd love to be up near 40. I think we're probably in the low 30s now. But you look at some of the defenses we've gone against. I mean, Rocky Long, I've been going against him for 6 years now, and so that was a very emotional win for me. Rocky Long's a great defensive coordinator, has always done a tremendous job with the defenses anywhere he's been. So they were tough to go against. But, yeah, I mean, and all the guys on the defensive side, you can just see their energy, and it's fun because we have an attitude on offense, and now they have an energy and something about them on defense, and we feed off each other. And so when the defense goes out and gets a turnover, we're going to try and make sure we always score points off of it.
What's the best part about the bye week for you, Coach? Something that's not football related?
Yeah, I get more time with my wife. So she's an amazing woman, and she allows me to get to live my dream and do this job. So I get to spend a little more time with her for sure.
What are a few of the things that you guys really want to hone in on during bye week here to stay with the momentum going into next week?
Yeah, just, our fundamentals. We'll always work that, especially from the quarterback standpoint, working in the pocket and stepping up. I mean, it's important that, our receivers keep, ball handling and stuff like that and catching balls in practice to make sure that we're good on Saturdays. But it's just usually the basics. That's why I tell the guys on Mondays, like, hey, it's going back to the basics, just doing what we do.
Coach, you mentioned them both briefly, but together, when you consider Toa and Devontae Lee, did you expect a freshman production of this sort from those two, or were you more wait and see with both?
I think we knew they were probably capable of it, but you never know with freshmen, and that's the big thing. You don't ever know how they're going to react and how they're going to play. But both those guys have done a tremendous job. When we've asked them and called on them and got them in the game, they've made big plays, and you're seeing that with Toa now stepping up and getting to be the starter. So, boy, I tell you what, the future is really bright for those two guys.
We didn't get into a bowl means for this team. After coming off a 3-win season, potentially getting up to 8 or 9 this year.
Yeah, I mean, confidence. Coming out of this game Saturday, the confidence of our guys and our offense and our defense and our special teams. I think they think the sky's the limit. I think we all sit here and say, hey, we can win them all. We said that before. We said it after the Hawaii game. And so as long as we just have that mentality and take them one at a time, I think getting to a bowl game is going to be a tremendous feat for this team, and we'll be really excited.
Do you think The win over San Diego State helped even more in that regard because they were a fringe top 25 team. They've won the Mountain West a lot. They have Rocky Long. I mean, this is just a team that's one of the 2 or 3 best in the Mountain West the last time.
Yeah, I mean, what, in the last 8 or 9 years? I mean, how many times has San Diego State won it? I mean, 6 or 7, maybe more than that. But, you know, to go on the field, and, you know, I think we felt it after the Boise game too. You know, we were so close, and we made a couple of turnovers on offense were tough. You know, Ty turned it over for the pick 6 that, you know, we really wish we could have had that one back. But I think after that game, I think it was like all our guys were like, hey, you know what, we can do this. You know, we can. And then we went to Hawaii and took care of business. And so I think from there, it's just been the confidence level of all the guys on the team has really gone up.
What do you thought of Ty's season? Obviously, had to miss one game with that thigh injury, but it looks like he's pretty close to 100%. And, you know, are you getting out of a senior quarterback what you look to get out of a senior quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Ty's a lot of fun to coach. You know, and I told him before this season, I said, you know, I really want you to take ownership of this offense and make it yours, you know, make it. And that's why we told all the offensive guys, you know, because, you know, if Ty has the capability to check plays at the line of scrimmage when he's in there and get us into the right plays, you've got a dangerous quarterback, you know. And I always attribute to the Tom Brady's and the Peyton Mannings of the world, you know, when they can change plays, they make you right as an offensive coordinator a lot of the time. And so it makes me look good. But, you know, Ty's been amazing. He's done a great job this year. I think, you know, we would all love to see his stats higher than they are, but he's getting us in the right place, and we're being successful.
And as an offensive coach, you know, always concerned about taking care of the ball on offense, but what was it like to see against San Diego State that you really did take care of it?
Yeah, against a tremendous defense like that, to pitch a shutout, that was really big, you know, and I think it went a long ways to helping us win the game. You know, I told Ty Ganji and Sean Krebs after the game, I was like, guys, nowhere near our best performance on offense in any realm of the matter, but, you know, we just did a nice job of doing what we had to do. And I think the biggest, you know, part of that game on Saturday was the drive coming out of the second half. You know, we made some adjustments. We did what we had to do. We drove it straight down and we scored, and we put a lot of pressure back on San Diego State. So, you know, I'm just really proud of the guys.
Anything else?